Hello there, friends. It's Jimmie Maverick, and we are going to do a mock draft right now on the ESPN mock draft website. We're going to do a PPR 12 team, and I am picking 11th. You can see me right there. And we are going, as you can see, it's already started, so we will move through here and get our pick eventually. I know the first round is always the slowest in this mock draft, though. But anyway, we are going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, which you can access exclusively through my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. I invite you to go over there and check it out. And I already have it set up. We got it set up for a PPR league, league size 12, draft position 11. Here are the position filters. Here are the round filters. But because our two picks are so close together, it's just combined in this case. We've got recommendations, and we've got the player list down below. So you can see here that as far as for the player list, I'm just going to minimize the player list so we can see more of the players down below, minimize the recommendations. You can see that it is recommending with our first pick, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Evans, or George Kittle with our first two picks. Now, of course, I always like to start out drafting a running back first. And so if we filter just for running backs, you will see that, David Johnson is the top name on here, but he's a long shot, meaning our chances of getting him at pick 11 are very slim, less than 50-50. But right below that, you got Joe Mixon, and I think Joe Mixon's going to be a great first pick for us there. And then I do like the idea of going with Juju Smith-Schuster with our second pick. Just lock up very quickly and easily the top, a top 5 wide receiver and what I consider to be a top 6 running back. Okay, that's how I have him rated this year. So it is moving to us slowly but surely. But you can see here, basically, what my app is doing is, first of all, draft mode, which is what this section is right here. It breaks down that top 250 draft list for each round of the draft. So when we are looking here at the first round, we're looking at all the players that are available between our first pick and our second pick. So if you look here, you'll see the draft position column here. If we sort, we're looking at all the players from pick 7 through pick 39. So there's a little bit of overlap on each side. Obviously, these ones that are before our pick are all long shots, but we still might be able to get them. And then at the very bottom of the list, you see a bunch of reaches, because these guys are going to be long shots on the next round. So if there is a player that is, let's jump back here and see what we're doing. Okay, so if there is a player that is very highly rated and has the little reach hands next to his name, that's saying that, okay, we should probably take him early. We should take him around early as opposed to take our chances and try to get him in the second round, okay? Now, in this case, the top reach is Kerryon Johnson, but you can see I'm sorry, that's backwards. Okay. The top reach is actually way down here. Brandon Cooks. Okay, that's the top rated reach player. He's so far down the list. All these guys are guys you would want to get before you got Brandon Cooks. So there's really no reason for us to reach for a player this round. You can see here's Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Evans, George Kittle. They are the 3 highest rated players according to my VORC score, which stands for value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. Basically, it's these 4 columns over here, and based on how they do on these columns, they get points. And then those points are added up, and that's what gets you your VORC score. So if you just hover over the VORC score, you'll see the breakdown of how many points they got for the value score, the outlook score, the reliability, and the consistency. So that's very easy to see. Now, because this is PPR, that obviously gives wide receivers a big advantage, and that's why you often see the recommendations are crowded with wide receivers, and that's why we had to go look at just the running backs and to pick our favorite running back. But you can see we've got below David Johnson, there's Joe Mixon, there's also Todd Gurley here, who I would not recommend. I just don't trust the knee right now. You got Derrick Henry, James Conner, Dalvin Cook. So these are like all the top rated running backs for this round. And it is still not back to us. Man, they take their sweet time in the first round. But on the flip side, these are the best ones Who are the worst ones? We got Devonta Freeman, Leonard Fournette, Kerryon Johnson, Aaron Jones. These guys are poor values. If you look at their value ranking, they're very high relative to our current pick, which is pick 11 and pick 14. So that's a big negative for them. Leonard Fournette, Devonta Freeman, dealing with injuries, low reliability. There's lots of negative issues about them, and so that's why they score so poorly on the Vork score, especially here. So it is almost to our pick, so let's just go ahead and we are going to, well, look, David Johnson is still on the board. That's amazing. So there he is. There's Joe Mixon. There's Juju Smith-Schuster. And we also wanted to go Mike Evans. So there we go. We already got our 4 players already queued up, and I would love it if we got David Johnson with our first pick. And it looks like it might be a possibility, although I'm not holding out hope here. And of course, here's what happens, man. They take their full minute and a half because they're not actually in the draft app. They got in the queue and then they left their computer and they're not actually in, and that's why the first round always takes so long. And starting the second round, we got people on auto pick because they weren't there on the first pick. So we'll have to wait for Harrison to complete his final 13 seconds, and then hopefully Team Lee will be ready to go, and then I'll be able to make my pick. But that's basically how it works. So what's going to happen is after we make our first 2 picks, we're just going to jump to the next round, and we're going to look at that group of players. And I got to tell you, I've been getting lots of feedback and people talking about, well, how do you track which players have come off the board? How do you do that? Well, on my app, there is a way to remove players off the list. There's this little X over here, and if you click on the X, you can remove that player from the list. So as they come off the board, you can do it that way. But what I like to say, hey, it's our pick. Awesome. Oh, and DJ got taken. Well, that's not surprising. So let's go ahead and we'll take Mixon, and hopefully Gunn will cycle it back to us very quickly. And then we will take Smith-Schuster. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to be different this time. I'm going to take Evans. You know, he's not as highly ranked here. If we go back to the 1-2, you know, oh, actually, they have the same Vork score. His value is not quite as good, but you can see total points scored very similar. And I just want to see the upside of Tampa Bay. I really think he's got some serious upside. And it's back to us. So let's go ahead. We'll take Evans with our second pick. And now we can jump back to the 3-4 round. And you can see that the top 3 players for this round would be Robert Woods, Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake. Now, I do like the idea of grabbing a couple of running backs. And if we just filter for running backs, you can see there's Derrick Henry, there's Kenyon Drake right at the top of the list, and they're all very good. You got James White here, Marlon Mack, Mark Ingram, Tariq Cohen, Philip Lindsay. So you got a bunch of guys. You know, if we wanted to speculate, we could take a chance on David Montgomery. You know, his Vork score isn't good, but that's just because he's a rookie, man. He doesn't have any reliability or consistency rating, so he gets 0 on that. His outlook is 20 because he has a 5-star outlook. He gets 20 points for that. But his value is -17. Again, based on where we have to take him, right? We got to take him with pick number 35, and his value is 52nd. So he's kind of capped, whereas if you look at Derrick Henry's value is 40th, Kenyon Drake's value is 45th. These guys have very high value. They have good value relative to your pick, and that's what you want. You want guys that are going to give you at least fair value, which is what I would consider both these players to be. And of course, Kenyon Drake is great for PPR because he does catch a ton of passes. Last year, he was targeted 73 times. He hauled in 53 passes for 477 yards. I look to that to be at least as good, if not better, for this season. That's my projections right now. So I do like the idea of going with Kenyon Drake. Henry and Drake with our next 2 picks would be super solid. But, you know, let's say you wanted to take a quarterback. Oh, well, look at that. If we wanted to get Patrick Mahomes as our quarterback, we would need to take him in this round, right? As far as wide receivers, we already got Robert Woods as the top wide receiver in the list. Robert Woods actually provides extremely good value here. Look at this. His value rank is 23rd. Which means his value score is +12. That means he's undervalued. It might not be a bad idea to take Woods and then maybe Derrick Henry. That would be a really good pair because that's going to give me like the best value. But you can also see here, oh, who else is on the list? Well, you got Brandon Cooks at the top, but he's a long shot. He doesn't provide as good a value, though, but he's more consistent and reliable than Robert Woods is. You got Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Tyler Boyd, Jarvis Landry. There's a lot of options right here. But I think I want to go with Woods and Henry. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be a long time till our next pick. So I'm going to just pause so we're within 3, and then we'll see where we're at, and we'll take our player. All right, we're back, and you can see that actually all of our players are still on the board. We'll see if Cooks makes it to us. And Cooks did. Okay, so again, he's a long shot. He was a 50-50 shot that he would make it to our pick, but he made it. And so let's go ahead and we'll take Cooks instead of Woods, and we'll take Henry on the next. And hopefully Gunn will not take him. We'll see. It's very close. He did not. Awesome. Okay, so there you go. So right now, our team, we've got Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry as our running backs. We got Mike Evans and Brandon Cooks as our wide receivers. That's a nice pair right there. Let's move on to the next round. Let's take a look. So the top recommended players, Robbie Anderson, Sterling Shepard, Jarvis Landry, all wide receivers. So all wide receivers are at the top here. Let's see here. If we wanted to go quarterback, who would we need to pick this? Okay, now look. A lot of quarterbacks are going to go between this round and the next round, right? We've got Ryan, Mayfield, Luck, Rodgers, and Deshaun Watson. So if we wanted to get ourselves one of these elite quarterbacks, this is the round we would want to take them. As far as running backs goes, let's look. So Drake is at the top. He's a long shot, right? So he could make it back to us. But we got Tevin Coleman, we got Jordan Howard, who actually I'm liking more and more the more I hear about Miles Sanders and his problems. I do like that. Lamar Miller, Rashad Penny. But the guys I don't like in this round, Darius Geis, Miles Sanders, Darrell Henderson, he might be a good shot too if we wanted to take a chance with another running back because, boy, he would have some serious upside. I kind of like the idea of going with maybe a Drake and a Henderson right now. I think that would be outstanding, actually. So we can see if that happens or not, right? A lot of people are very down on Todd Gurley right now, and if Gurley sits, Henderson will be a running back 1, and so you got to take advantage of that every time you can. So here's what I'm going to do. Long way to our next pick, so I'm just going to pause, and we'll come back and we'll see where we're at. All right, just moved very rapidly. Kenyon Drake did come off the board, so we gambled this time. It did not work out. Last time it did. This time it didn't. That's the nature of long shots. But we do have Henderson still queued up. I also queued up Shepard and Anderson, the wide receivers. And let's see here. I thought I had queued up someone else. But, okay, so let's just go. Oh, look at this. Whoa. Whoa. David Montgomery's still available. Okay, so... Oh, and Jarvis Landry's still available. Okay. So my general rule is that if a player from a prior round makes it to your next round, you take them. Jarvis was a recommended, well, he is a recommended player this round, but I think he also showed up on the last round. No, he didn't. But, okay, so I do like the idea of Jarvis, and I do like the idea of David Montgomery. Henderson is a little bit more of a speculative play. Montgomery's got guaranteed work, right? So I think we need to take him if he does not get taken in these next picks by Gunn. Don't take him. Don't take him, Gunn. He didn't take him. All right. So, Dave Montgomery, there you go. You're on my roster. So, yeah, so we just picked up Landry, and we got Montgomery. This is going pretty good. Okay, so I think on the next set, we really need to look at tight ends. You can see that Vance McDonald is the recommended player, a recommended tight end at this level of the draft. I do like that. Who else is on this round? Njoku, Ebron, Walker. Ebron and Walker I don't like because of their injuries right now. Plus, Ebron is going to be in a share situation. So there's going to be who's the other tight end on that team? I think he's a bad play. Look at it; he's got terrible value, 130th. is his value rank versus our pick at 83rd. That's terrible. Njoku, I just don't think is going to get enough volume to be fantasy relevant. Although I do like, obviously, I love the offense for Cleveland this year. We already got Jarvis though, so I don't think we need it. But I definitely want to go for Vance. So let's just go ahead. We'll get him queued up right now, and we can take a look at some of the other positions and see who else we might want to be. And now notice how I still have Henderson, Shepard, and Anderson queued up. So if they somehow make it back to us, they would be our choices, obviously. But if we look at running backs this round, who do we got? Well, Peyton Barber is the highest rated player, and he's not a great player. He's not a great choice. Jordan Howard again, same thing. None of these. Look at how terrible the value is. Look at this value. Like, we're at pick 83. 86, right? We would be picking running backs with values 50 points later than when they should be taken, right? So the best thing you're doing here is you're speculating. Like Rashad Penny would be a speculation because he does offer some upside. But these guys, I just don't think they offer much of that. How about wide receivers? So wide receivers, now look at the value on wide receivers that we can get this round. Larry Fitzgerald is the top recommendation, also D.D. Westbrook. Those are both great options because they offer fantastic value. The value rank 63rd, so we get nearly 20 points of value there. D.D. Westbrook even better. Marvin Jones is good, but I'm not recommending him right now because he is still injured. Cortland Sutton does not offer that kind of value. But anyway, these guys all, are all good choices. So what I'm going to do, it's almost back to us. Boy, this is going quick here. Okay. So look up at my queue. You can see all those other guys got picked. That is not surprising. That is to be expected. We will go ahead and we will take Vance McDonald. And like I said, I do like the idea we could take either Fitz or Westbrook. I'm going to go with the youth on this one. I'm going to go with Westbrook because I think there's more upside there. Let's see here. Westbrook, are you still on the board? You are. So let's just get him queued up and ready to go. And as soon as Gunn makes his decision... Oh, did he just take him? Oh, D.D. Westbrook just got taken. So let's take Fitz. Let's see here. Larry, are you still on the board? He sure is. Okay. So we took Fitzgerald. He is our fourth wide receiver. And I think we need to look at quarterbacks this next round. I think this is a good round for quarterbacks. And you can see actually on the recommendations, Dak Prescott is on there as a recommended play. But there's a bunch. Look at all these players. Look, we got Prescott, Goff, Roethlisberger, Wilson, Trubisky, Breeze, Brady, Murray. All these guys are going to be going between our 9th pick and our 11th pick. So I think this is definitely the round to take a quarterback. I do like the idea. I do like Dak Prescott. I think I like maybe Jared Goff a little bit more. But they're both good choices. Both contract year players, both upswing in usage over the past 3 seasons. That's what these little icons mean. Goff, though, gets a 5-star outlook. Prescott only gets a 3. The reason why Goff is below Prescott, though, is because consistency isn't as good. But I very much like the idea of getting Goff. So let's make him one of our picks. As far as the other pick, look, we get N'Keal Harry. That would be a good choice. Deshaun Hamilton, not really thrilled with that as a wide receiver choice. I don't think there's a ton of upside there. What about running backs? What running backs can we get? We can get Breida, Freeman, Harris, Hyde, or D'Onta Foreman. Of all those, I like Damian Harris the best. I always say I never take a New England running back before pick 100. But after pick 100, they always seem to work out for me. Like last year, I got Sony Michel at pick 100. He was a great starter for at least 6 or 7 weeks during the course of the season. He was great. So that's the kind of player that I think Damian Harris would be, because I don't think Sony Michel is very good, very durable. So I like the idea of taking him, even though he offers terrible value. We're getting him as a speculative play, right? We're speculating here that he is going to be. He, at least at some point during this season, will be the starting running back in the New England backfield, which I think is highly likely the way they run that backfield. So Goff and Harris would be great. So let's run back here. I'm just going to pause over within 3, and then we'll be back. All right, came right back to us very quickly here. I just got to wait for Team Lead to make his decision. There's Goff and Harris. Already got him queued up. And we can just see on the list here if there's anyone else that we might be interested in grabbing. And I got to say, Not really thrilled with any of these guys. As far as their upside, it's extremely limited on the teams that they're with. So anyway, as soon as Lee makes his decision, we'll go ahead and we'll take, I think I'll take Goff first, and then I'll wait for Harris. But we should be able to get both pretty easy. So let's go here. So, one of the nice things about doing this is, if you notice, they're not even on the visible list. And what I like to say with your opponents is, when they're out of sight, they're out of mind. He's just down the list just a little bit. There he is, right? So nobody can see him, and they're all looking at these players. This is who they're making decisions on, but not me. Not using this app. I'm looking at every player between this pick and my next pick and making my decision on who's the best. So we'll take Harris with that pick. So we've got 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers. We got our tight end. We got our quarterback. So things are looking great. I'm liking this team a lot. This is a very nice team. Next round, 11 and 12. Who's recommended? Tyrell Williams, Oakland wide receiver. Mohamed Sanu, Atlanta wide receiver. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Green Bay wide receiver. Those are all great choices. I like Williams and I like Scantling way more than Sanu, though. They're all really good. If we look at running backs, oh, look at this. We could grab Dion Lewis. That's a great PPR player. We could grab Kareem Hunt if we want to just take him and store him on our bench for 9 weeks, which I don't particularly want to do. And then we got a couple of lower-end players which aren't that great. Bernard, Ito Smith. Don't really want anything to do with those guys. But I do like Dion. And you know what? Let's go with the high upside play. I mean, MVS is kind of like the guy that's getting a lot of buzz right now, and it's Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, that's definitely, he has the best quarterback. So I think we should go for that. So I will just go ahead and I'll queue him up, and then we'll just, oh, look, it's almost back to us already. So let's go Marquez. There he is. Queue him. And then we go Dion Lewis. Him, and so that looks good. And you can see Marquez is right near the top, so we definitely got to take him first, right? So we'll take Marquez first, and then it will come around, and Dion Lewis. Let's see, are there any other running backs are sitting around here? Oh, there's Dion right there, right? Okay, yeah, okay, he's the best, so we'll definitely take him. And again, he is the 6th. He will be our 5th running back. So, again, it's a low-risk play, and I think he offers some upside. We have Derrick Henry as well, so that's good too. It's kind of a natural handcuff there. But he has value on his own, especially since it's PPR. I wouldn't take Dion Lewis if it was just a standard points league, but because it's PPR, I'll take it. So 13, 14. So let's see here. How many more bench slots do we have? We got 2 more bench slots. So we're going to take 2 more runners, wide receivers. So in the 13th round, here's who we got. Adrian Peterson. Oh, I think he'd be a great running back. We could definitely take him. Kirk Cousins. Don't really need a second quarterback. I'm fully confident in Goff. I think he's a great choice. Lamar Jackson, another quarterback. Okay, so the 2 of the top 3 choices are quarterbacks. Again, if you wanted to wait and get one of these guys instead, this tells you, hey, you need to take them in the 13th round. That's when you need to take these guys, right? It's very handy how this tool works in just making suggestions. Now, as far as wide receivers this round, Sanu is a long shot. But not great options. Look at all these guys. 1 star. It's just terrible. I don't want anything to do with them. Kenny Stills, I don't really see any compelling need to go for him. How about running backs? So AP is at the top. Then we got Richard, Williams. Oh, Jalen Samuels. You know what? I kind of like the idea of going with Jalen. Again, it's another speculative pick. But he definitely is going to have himself a role in this offense this year. I don't think it's going to be just Connor. I think he's going to be in there and he's going to be doing stuff. So, yeah, I like the idea of Peterson and Samuels with our final 2 picks here. I think that'd be great. And it's already back to us. Okay, so let's go and we'll get Adrian Peterson. Hopefully he's still there. He sure is. We'll take him. And then we will take, I'm sorry, I just drew a blank. Jalen. That's right. Jalen Samuels. He should still be there. Of course he is. And then all we have left to do is just take our defense and our kicker. So I'm just going to pause. I'll come back at the end and we'll review the team. All right, we're back. And I got to say, I love this team. I would love to take this team in with me to the regular season. Let's review. Okay, so for our quarterback, Jared Goff. Again, top tier offense. He's got 3 fantastic receivers on his team, plus receiving running backs, top-notch choice, right? Our running backs, we got Mixon. We got Henry, we've got David Montgomery, we got Damian Harris, Dion Lewis, Adrian Peterson, and Jalen Samuels. So we took 7 running backs. That is solid, man. I love this group of running backs. I think David Montgomery is going to be a 1 this year. Mixon's a 1. Henry's a solid 2. So I like that, and I like the depth. We got tons of depth behind these guys. Wide receivers, we got Evans, we got Cooks, we got Landry, we got Fitzgerald, MVS, and that's it, right? So we got 5 wide receivers. Again, Evans is a 1. Cooks is a high-end 2 with 1 upside. Landry is a solid 2. Fitzgerald, I think, is a flex value. And MVS I think he has 2 upside, but he's probably more likely a flex. But again, great depth, good choices. Our tight end is Vance McDonald. I ended up taking the Eagles as my defense. They got a great early season schedule. I usually just stream defenses anyway, but Eagles is a good choice. Mason Crosby is my kicker because go Buffs. I'm from CU, and that's where Crosby's from, so I take him. So all in all, I love this team. It's a great team, and I hope you see the value of how this tool will help you in a live draft situation, right? I mean, it breaks it down round by round, gives you recommendations, but also gives you the flexibility to look at other positions, especially, like I said, here in PPR, the recommendations were very crowded with wide receivers, but we could just filter for running backs and look at what running backs were available in that round. I also hope you noticed that I basically got every single player that I wanted. I hardly at all missed out on any player that I wanted, and that's one of the big keys of this app is that these players are ordered according to an algorithm of mine, which gives you the most accurate idea as to when a player is coming off the board. Once you know the when, you can plan on where you need to take him in your draft, right? You can just plan ahead. You can target, which quarterback do I want? I want Baker Mayfield. When would I have to take Baker Mayfield based on me picking 11th in a 12-team league? Well, let's see here. He looks like he's a target for 5th and 6th round for that round of picks. That's when I need to take him. But for other draft positions, you might need to take him earlier, or you can maybe wait a little bit later. It all depends, and this gives you the flexibility to work with that. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. Sign up for the app. Check it out. It is absolutely going to make a huge difference in your game this season. I promise you, you will love it. It will completely up your game on draft day, and it will really help you out when you are on the clock and the clock's ticking down and you got to make a decision and who are you going to pick, right? So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a good day, and happy drafting, everybody.